how's it going? I hope you guys are doing good. Today I wanted to do a update video on our 12 pod iDOO system. As you can see, the system sitting beside me here is the 12 pod iDOO, and there is nothing in this system right now. So in full honesty with you guys, this system gave me quite a few issues, and I'm not 100% sure that they were all the system's fault. They could be user error as well, and kind of learning some tricks and things like that to really have success with the system. And so what I wanted to do with you guys today was to give you guys a realistic update. Even though I wanted to hide my failure, I wanted to give you guys a realistic update of what happened with this system and some tips and tricks to help you guys hopefully to try with your systems and have success. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about with this system is actually going to be, I'm going to touch on it in this video, and then I'm going to do like a troubleshooting video for hydroponic systems, because there seems to be a few issues that people are running into over and over and over again, that I kind of wanted to make a video just for this system, and then one for like more of a broad hydroponic system, like troubleshooting and tips and tricks and that type of stuff. So if you guys are interested in kind of seeing more in depth, I would look out for that video. It'll be posted after this one. But today we're going to just touch on a few things more designed for this system in particular. So with this iDOO system, the 12 pod system, it is much more of a shallow base or water reservoir than say like the 7 pod system or the QYO system. They're much deeper of a water reservoir. And the reason that that is kind of a factor in this whole situation is keeping the water level consistent in these systems is extremely important. If you do not, you will start having all kinds of problems with algae, with fungus, types of things like that growing on top of your sponges on your system. And that is what I dealt with this system in particular the most. I have dealt with it a little bit with my other systems, but nothing like I did with this one. And I think the reason that this one I had more trouble with it is because the water reservoir is so much more shallow than the other ones. Now, that being said, I will also say that with this system, because the water reservoir water reservoir is so much more shallow in this system, the cups and sponges that hold your plants are also much more shallow. So there's less room, I guess, for the roots to grow and just for everything to be happening in this little space. And so I don't know if that's an attributing factor, but it's definitely something that is different and something that I've noticed. One thing that I would suggest is making sure that these little sponges stay down inside the water. With the other systems, it seems to be much easier to keep that sponge down inside the water level. With this system, you kind of have to really force them to be in there. And I just kind of go around and make sure that mine are pushed down as far as they go every couple of days or whatever, to make sure that they are getting down into that water as much as possible. So those are some of the tips specifically for this system. Making sure you keep the water level at the max water, which is right here. You can see on the outside of the system, which is really nice. You can just look at the front of your system and know whether I need to add a little more water or not. So making sure that that stays consistently full, making sure that these sponges are pushed down into the water as far as they will go. And then the next tips that I have are kind of more universal. So let me grab something real quick. So for your hydroponic system, like I had touched on earlier, sometimes you might deal with some algae or mold or fungus wanting to grow on the top of your sponges. If this starts to occur, it's okay. It's not the end of the world, but it is something that we want to get on top of fairly quickly. One thing that I know that does help is cleaning your system every 4 weeks, like the company suggests. which I've done one cleaning video so far, and essentially all it is you're going to remove the top panel of your system that has all your plants and whatnot in it. You're going to dump all of the water out of this reservoir, run a rag through it. I've seen people also do very diluted solutions of vinegar and water, or like a capful of Clorox in a whole gallon of water, that type of thing. Just a very diluted solution, and try to clean out your system. I wouldn't do the vinegar or Clorox or anything like that solution, even though it is very diluted, unless you're having a really bad problem where you're like, I need to kill this stuff and get on top of it. Otherwise, usually just wiping it out with a damp rag is sufficient. So keeping up with the cleaning every 4 weeks is important. If you do start seeing something growing on top of your sponges, you can do a solution of hydrogen peroxide to water. I believe it's 1 quart of water to 1 tablespoon of hydrogen peroxide. I'm not sure. You can Google it. I think that's what it is. It might be 2 tablespoons. I would Google it if I were you. Because I forget it at this moment. But if you just Google hydrogen peroxide solution for plants, it's the first one that comes up. I believe it's 2 tablespoons per quart of water. You put it into a spray bottle, and then you can simply spray the top of your sponge. Now, you are going to want to shield the leaves of your plant as you are spraying it, as it can burn the leaves if it gets on the leaves, and you just don't really want that. So try to avoid getting it on the leaves of your plant, but you can spray the top of the sponge with that solution, and that will help. The second thing that I have for you guys that is a bit of a trick is putting aluminum foil on top of your system, on top of the sponges. So let me show you how to do this. Okay, so I have some aluminum foil here, and I'm just going to tear off a little piece. I'm going to take my plastic holder with the sponge inside, and again, this can go for any hydroponic system. They're all similar. And I'm just going to wrap the aluminum foil around the top of that plastic piece and just seal that in pretty good. Okay, just tuck it in so that it'll fit back in my system real nicely like that. Now, let me grab I'm going to take a chopstick here, but you can use whatever you would like. You want to take something that is going to make a nice point, nice hole in the center, and you're just going to want to poke a hole in the center of that aluminum foil where the hole is in your sponge down below. That way we can put the seed in there, and then the seed can grow up through there, but no other part of the sponge is showing, which is important. So with some systems, it seems like it's they mold or mildew or get algae on them more than others. So if you know that yours is kind of prone to it, you can start off by doing what I'm going to do today and planting the seed with it already having the aluminum foil on it. If you already have plants growing in your system and you're starting to have these problems, I would suggest just trying to take the aluminum foil and placing it around the plant. So just going a little piece at a time around and wrapping it down around the plastic piece. I hope that makes sense. Let me show you on mine. Here, I have some basil growing in my QEO system, so let me kind of show you what I'm talking about. So I already have a plant growing in this one. So I'm just going to take the aluminum foil and wrap it around the side. And you can trim off the bottom if it's a little long. There, so just kind of wrapping the aluminum foil around the plant in littler pieces and wrapping it then down around the bottom piece that holds your plant. And that way it's blocking the light from getting to that soil sponge. So that's really all we're trying to do right now using the aluminum foil, is we want to stop this light that's coming down constantly to stop making contact with your sponge, because that's what's creating that algae to grow. Is that sponge is a nice wet place where if there's any sort of bacteria or anything like that, things will start to grow. So if we block the light from getting to that sponge, then things won't be able to grow. If you already have plants in your system and you're having algae or things like that grow around the sponge, I would suggest doing a two-pronged approach. So first of all, using your peroxide spray solution and then topping your plastic cup with the sponge in it with the aluminum foil. The two-pronged approach is going to kill whatever is there initially, and then the second thing is going to prevent it from continuing to grow or new stuff to start to grow. So that is kind of my approach, my tips for trying to get success with your hydroponic system. If you have trouble with this, I would give it a try. Try kind of the different tips and tricks that I've given you here today, and hopefully it'll help you guys. I know it can be frustrating, and I have been struggling with this over the past couple months and trialing things and seeing what is helping and what is working, what's not. And so I wanted to make a video to kind of help you guys, because I know some of you were struggling with the same things. So I at least wanted to give you guys things to try to have success with yours. Now, I'm going to be doing a little bit of a fun experiment with this system. I believe that the type of seed or the quality of seed that you use for these systems really matters. There's certain seeds that I have used that I have had zero germination with. There are things that I have put in here that pop up real quick and then they'll die off real quick. I think the seed matters, first of all. I also think that certain vegetables and things like that don't necessarily love the super wet conditions. Spinach is one of those for me. I'm starting to get to the point where I'm like, I don't think spinach likes to have a very wet environment. As soon as it comes up, it starts to yellow and die off. So I'm thinking spinach may not be one of those things that loves the wet conditions that the hydroponic system gives it. So you can trial and error some things. Some things are probably going to just not want to grow in this kind of environment, and that's just the way it is. So, but in my thought process of knowing that the best seeds seem to do the best quality seeds, I thought it would be fun to try to do an all proven winners seed hydroponic setup. So I got some proven winners seeds here, and because I love proven winners so much and I've had so much success with their plants, I was like, let's do some proven winners seeds in this system. I hope I am not setting myself up for failure here. I am trying to set myself up for the best success possible, but we'll see what happens. So today we are going to be planting some Pesto Basil from Proven Winners, Berry Treasure Pink Strawberries, Berry Treasure Red Strawberries, and some Good Hearted Tomatoes. So these are some different things that I have not tried in my system yet. I've tried basil, a different brand, but I've tried basil and it has done really well in my other systems. I have not yet tried strawberries. Actually, I have never planted strawberries from seed. To be honest with you, I didn't even know you could do that. Like, of course strawberries make seeds, but like to start a strawberry plant from seed kind of blew my mind. But here they are, and I'm ready to try it. I think it'll be really fun. And then also, I have not grown any tomatoes in my hydroponic systems yet. Now, it matters what kind of tomato you are trying to grow in your hydroponic system. Right now, I have tomato plants that are 6 feet tall out in my garden. You cannot just plant any kind of tomato in this system. This is a tiny little tabletop garden. It will only handle certain types of tomatoes. In this case, this is a like a dwarf style tomato plant. It only gets let's see, 18 to 24 inches tall and wide. So this is going to stay rather small, rather compact in our little system here, which is very important. You cannot grow some giant plant in this thing. You can start seeds for those giant plants in here, which I have done before, and then transplant them out into your garden, but you cannot fully grow a giant tomato in here. It has to be like a dwarf style tomato, a patio tomato, they'll call them sometimes, a small container tomato. Look for words like that, like container, patio container tomato, dwarf tomato, determinate tomato. Even determinate tomatoes, some of them still get really huge. So it kind of depends. You want to make sure that you're getting something that stays 2 feet or less, and that you should be able to grow that fine in here. So that's what we're going to be trying today. I hope to give you guys successful updates on this system with these new seeds. I'm really excited about it. Excited to try to grow some strawberries from seed. And so the good news is too that because this is an indoor system, what is this, July right now? It doesn't matter how long it takes for these things to germinate and grow. Like, it might take a while for strawberry plants to grow. I don't know. But I'm not going to run out of time here because we're inside. And I'm not fighting the frost. I'm not trying to get everything planted before my first frost date or anything like that. So we are just going to pop these in and see how they go. The first thing I need to do is top all of my seed sponges here with a layer of my aluminum foil. If you guys have missed the setup of this system in the original video that I did the unboxing and setup of this 12-pot iDOO system, there will be a link in the description below. I go into more detail of how to set this system up, how to put all the water and nutrients into the system, how to plant the seeds, and just get everything ready. This video, I'm not really going to go over that. I'm more or less just going to talk about some problems or things that I have and some solutions to those problems. So if you want to know more about this system and how to get growing with it, please check out the video in the link below. Okay, so now that all of the tops of my sponges have been covered with aluminum foil, I'm going to go ahead and plant these seeds. So I thought it would be fun to do two basil plants in the back, one here and one here. I'm going to leave these 4 things in the center open because I know that these plants are going to put on some good size. And so instead of trying to shove all of the plants right next to each other, I kind of want to see if I can leave this center space open and then see how they kind of grow around the edges, if that makes sense. It's a little bit of an experiment as well. So these are my basil seeds here. And I'm just going to take 2 seeds per sponge. Drop them down into our hole there. And the instructions when you set up your system will encourage you to soak your seeds before starting them in your system. I did that on the first time that I started my system, and it was kind of a pain in the butt. I will say that it worked really well, but I've also done it where I've not soaked the seeds, and they've also worked pretty well. So it's kind of just one of those things, up to you whether you want to do that step or not, but the iDOO company does recommend that you do that for more success. So we have our 2 basil plants in the back. I put 2 seeds in each spot, and now we're going to do berry treasure red, or no, we're going to do good hearted tomatoes, one on this side and one on this side. So let's get those planted. I really like these seed packets. I didn't mean to do like a review of Proven Winners seed packets, but it's kind of cool. Normal seed packets, you open it up and the seeds are just inside there. There's actually a package, a second package in there of seeds, and then a little plant tag that gives you some information on the plants, like how many days to germinate, the planting depth, the spacing, things like that. That's pretty cool. So let's open this guy up. I'm going to put 2 seeds in each of these as well. And as like my tomatoes come up, I'll probably thin them out because I don't need 2 tomato plants growing from one little spot here. So if both of the seeds come up, I will just cut the one off and let the other one grow. So 2 seeds in each hole here just to make sure that we have good germination. I don't think I got that one in there. I think he was stuck on my finger. There we go. And we'll just close this back up. And then across the front here, I think I'm going to do 1 Berry Treasure red, 1 pink, 1 red, 1 pink. I think that will be pretty. So beauty matters. Okay, so this is the Berry Treasure red. Again, we get a little plant tag and we get a little envelope with seeds. The attention to detail for the winners. Tell you what, you guys are so detailed. I love it. Oh my goodness. Those seeds, can you see them? They are so tiny. Strawberry seeds. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we're going to take 2 of these and we're going to go 2 in this one, skip this one, and do 2 in that one. Okay, let's close this guy up. And then we'll do the Berry Treasure pink. I have some of the Berry Treasure red and Berry Treasure pink plants that I have bought and have been growing those for 2 seasons now, and I really like them. I like them a lot. They're beautiful plants, first of all. So we'll go pink here and then pink here. So they're beautiful plants because normally strawberry plants only have white blooms, so I really like the different blooms on these. So I really like the different bloom colors. I actually have them on my patio in a raised bed, and they're absolutely beautiful. And then, of course, they produce fruit most of the season. They put on a big crop of fruit in spring, and then they just continue producing throughout the summer as well, which is really fun. So anyway, I'm excited to try to grow these from seed and see how they do. So an overall assessment of the iDOO 12 pod, I did struggle with it the first time that I planted it up. I see it kind of as just like a learning experience. I did not fail completely though, and I wanted to kind of reiterate that, I guess. I did grow lettuce and things like that in here. I think I did green lettuce and a red lettuce out of the system, and it did pretty well. The lettuce did really well. I had those more concentrated in this area. I had planted something else in here. I can't remember what it was. I have to go back and watch the video. But I planted a few other things in the system and they didn't do well at all. I immediately started to get algae and fungus growing in those other ones. And eventually I started to get a white fungus growing in around my lettuce. And it just got to the point where I was like, I need to pitch this and start over and try to redo this in a different way. And so that is what I did. And like I said, I didn't have full failure, but there was definitely some things that I wanted to improve on. This is that attempt, and like I said, I'm using really good seeds from Proven Winners, and I'm trying these different techniques with the aluminum foil, making sure that the water is staying consistent, and making sure that my sponges are pushed down, which you can still do with the aluminum foil here, just like I am doing. Just make sure that those sponges stay pushed down into the water. All right, well, that's it for this video. I hope it was helpful to see some of the different things that you can do for your system. I hope it was helpful to see the update on the iDOO 12 pod, which sadly is not much to show you at this point. But an update is an update and it needs to be real. So we'll see you later. Hope you guys enjoyed the video.